The Hornets had a promising year last season, where they had a winning record and their young star player LaMelo Ball became an all-star for the first time. Even though they didn't make the playoffs last season and lost in the play-in tournament against the Atlanta Hawks, it felt like their team was creating momentum to get into the playoffs. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case, and it seems like the Hornets have gotten worse. They didn't make any moves during the offseason to make their team better, but instead they kept A1 on their team from last season. The Hornets are also going to be missing one of their players in Miles Bridges, who was their leading scorer last season, due to him facing 3 felony domestic violence charges after being accused of assaulting his girlfriend. He probably won't play this season from his felony charges. The loss of Miles Bridges and them not making any trades or signings during the offseason will really affect their chances of making the playoffs. There have been many teams in the East who have made their team better. There have been teams that have made major trades like the Atlanta Hawks, who traded for another all-star in DeJounte Murray, while there have been other teams that have made slight improvements to their roster, such as the Philadelphia 76ers, where they signed and traded for a lot of good role players in DeAnthony Melton and PJ Tucker. No matter what type of trade the team has made, it still has revamped their roster and developed something new to their team that they didn't have at first. This is why I was hoping the Hornets made some type of trade, because I don't think keeping their same roster will help them make it to the playoffs. It does help build chemistry for their team, but I don't think that's enough for the Hornets to have a winning record in the East. A few things that I liked about what the Hornets did during the offseason was that they drafted a center, Mark Williams, with the 15th overall pick. I thought it would have been better if they got a veteran center like Miles Turner, who was going to be on the last year of his contract, so they would have had the option of re-signing him if he played well with the team, or let him walk if he didn't fit their scheme. Even though they didn't get a proven center like Miles Turner, I still like how they got a center in the draft instead of doing nothing at all. I also thought it was a good idea to sign Steve Clifford as their head coach, because he helped the Hornets get to the playoffs twice when he was with the team. I didn't think it was necessary for them to fire their former head coach James Borrego, since he helped the Hornets get a winning record, but they're probably thinking that they needed a new start. The Hornets also have their franchise player LaMelo Ball, who is a great playmaking guard that can score efficiently. His points and assists will definitely increase this year due to him entering his 3rd season in the NBA, so he has a high chance to take that next step in his game. These offseason acquisitions wouldn't really help them be one of the top teams in the East, but it does give them hope for the future. The Hornets have put themselves in a tough situation because they didn't do anything new to their roster and they haven't taken that next step in their franchise. So it's going to be interesting on what their plans are and if they're going to decide to rebuild and trade some of their veteran players like Terry Rozier and Gordon Hayward, who are 2 of the highest paid players on their team. I hope the Hornets figure out what route they'll be taking as a team, but right now things aren't looking good for them.